Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
The Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV begins right now. There the boys are. We're all in studio. Feels good. There's Ira.
Been a minute.
Corey. It has been. It has been a minute. And because of it, I say, yay, sausage, right out the gates. Our friends at Register Sausage. Thank you so much, boys. It's good to see the two of you. It's good to talk about Register Sausage. Maybe not for 2 hours, but
we could, though.
We probably go down each the aspects of what makes each of our favorite. Yeah, you could.
When I walked into the game last night, the Florida State basketball game, where they didn't give up 100. They tried, but they didn't.
No.
I was wearing my Register's swag. I had my Register's hoodie on, and the security lady checking my bag was like, "Oh, do you work for Registers?" And I go, "No, they sponsor one of my shows, one of my mini shows.
Oh, I like
one of my mini shows." Yeah. And she said, "Oh man, can you get me some free Registers? They're awesome."
Which
cool.
lady? Like over there by the little club area?
Where you walk in,
that's my lady. That's
and
awesome.
I'm like, no, I can't even get free sausage, so I can't get any to you.
Ira gets all the free sausage.
I'll just buy her sausage. She's
you
sweet.
should, she's very sweet, and you should get for the Saturday for Leonard's going away. Bring her some sausage.
I'll do it.
Big to do.
And if you want Registers in your life, go to your local grocery store.
I told her all this too, by the way.
Did you go the whole spiel?
The whole registersmeat.com.
The geography footprint is expanding daily. Did you tell her that?
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah,
it was a 20-minute conversation.
A few years ago, it was basically you had to be like at the home office.
You had to be in Cottondale.
Yeah, you had to be in Cottondale. Or maybe, maybe Mariana, you could get some Registers.
Right.
Now, I mean, guys, took over Tallahassee, down to Tampa, making their way to South Florida, across to Jacksonville, big in Jacksonville, up into the Carolinas and Georgia. If you don't have it in your local grocery store, you could. I'm not saying you. I'm not blaming your meat manager, but he can make change happen. He doesn't need to sit there and just wait for the Register's truck to show up.
I'll tell you what,
he can request it.
I'm going to try that out. My Publix, where I live in Tallahassee, I couldn't find it on Sunday when I was looking for it. So trust me.
First of all,
they sold out.
I looked. First of all, when's the last time we were in a grocery store before that day?
I go all the time for my Mio. I go literally 3 times a week. I'm in a grocery store, but it's just for Mio and protein bars. But that's literally all I get.
He goes in and makes a beeline for the Mio, like our guy James used to go for.
Just get the crab legs.
Yeah.
Just get a bot.
No. I like to be with the people. I like to get as much Mio as possible.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm going to go find the meat manager. I get to play it. I get to play that game and see what happens.
And if you want it ordered, if you live in a different part of the country, registermeats.com is the website. They get the whole variety, plus the merch, the awesome merch like Corey was wearing last night.
Yeah.
And people ask you if you work for Registers.
I wear the Register Sausage cap from time to time, but I've yet to be stopped. I'm envious now. You're getting stopped with all this. I had to start doing it more often.
One of his many sponsors from his many shows.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up.
Well, thankfully, we won't have to talk about basketball much longer.
Yeah.
And really not a lot today either, I don't suppose. It's all winding down now.
I mean, we could talk about who they should hire, what they should do.
We could certainly talk about the hiring process, which you and I talked about briefly yesterday on the show. I do know I looked at some of the questions that we're going to get for next hour, and people have an opinion about the coaching search, but I think there's also this misnomer that Florida State's in a position to go out and get like a big name.
Right.
And that's not going to happen.
They can get a good coach, though. That's what we got to figure.
Anybody could get a good coach.
Right. They look, I always bring this up, but Florida hired the coach at San Francisco.
Right.
And what had he done? I mean, he'd been to the tournament a couple of times at San Francisco. Now, clearly, he's a very good coach. They're number 2 in the country.
Well, they get players.
Well, right. But also he can coach them. He can coach them. He can, they want to play for him or they want to play for whoever's sponsoring him, whatever it is. But you can go get a good coach at Florida State. You're not.
Oh, of course you could.
But you were not going to go get, Rick Pitino.
The equivalent of Coach K, if you will.
I guess, could you make a run at Rick Pitino?
Maybe get Rick back in the ACC.
Not feeling it.
No,
I don't think he's. I don't think he's going to. I remember a conversation I had one time with high school football coaches in Georgia, and they were talking about another high school coach and whether he would take this job. And they were like, man, there's no way he's taking that job because they don't have enough players there. There's no players. There's not enough players in that area. No matter what they want to pay him,
right?
He's only going to go to a place where he's got because he's in demand. And it's the same. Rick Pitino, man, he's not going to a place that can't spend top dollar on NIL like some of these other schools. And those basketball schools like St. John's are going to be position
They don't
to
have
do
a
that.
football program.
Right.
They're just going to spend on basketball.
Right.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. Is St. John's a basketball school? I mean, I know that's the only sport they have, but I'm going to think Florida State's been in the tournament more the last 20 years than St. John's.
But when I talk about the commitment to basketball, like, how much are you going to be willing to spend on basketball?
Yeah.
There's not a battle's end here for FSU basketball.
There needs to be more.
I mean, there is some NIL commitment for some people, and the university will make a commitment to some degree, but I don't think it's going to be what these other schools are willing to do.
I do like that Live Spectator is aiming high. Jay Wright might be sick of the snow.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's get back into the game.
He can coach.
Bring back Tony Bennett.
He can coach a little bit.
Tony Bennett.
Oh, your guy.
Yeah. That would be big.
You guys would have to have a come to get together understanding.
Larinaga's on the market, maybe? No.
Hubert Davis could have been if they'd have lost last night.
Lost last night?
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. It's like I'm sure when Florida hired their guy, nobody went, I love this hire.
Right.
There's no chance.
Yeah.
Those Florida fans must have been like, what the hell?
The basketball community was high on him, so there's some people who were.
But he wasn't a sure thing. They were high on
nobody's a sure thing.
the Mike White guy.
Yeah.
Was it Mike White from Louisiana Tech? And he was good at Louisiana Tech.
Right.
I say this with all due respect, because everybody in here knows my affinity for Leonard Hamilton, and he's been very good to me. I've enjoyed covering him for 15 years or whatever it's been that I've been here doing this. And he's had some great moments, and we've had some great teams. I'm ready for something else.
I think everybody is.
I'm just ready. I'm ready for teams that can shoot. I'm ready for teams where you don't have to automatically switch 1 through 5. You can play a different defense because it's a different age. I'm ready for a change.
Listen, it's not disrespectful to suggest that this is completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
I've said on the air, and I've been careful to make sure I'm not disparaging the man, because we all respect Leonard Hamilton, the man, and we respect his accomplishments here. But this has been ass.
Yeah, well,
this is the last.
And they don't even play. They don't even play defense anymore.
No, they don't play defense anymore. They're not good.
Yeah,
they're not any good.
Everything that his program was built around has changed, because recruiting was so much based on relationships. Well, those don't really matter anymore. His system was built on guys being in the system for 3 or 4 years, learning all the nuances of the defense, knowing. I mean, it was so detailed what they did defensively. It's not just about having long, athletic guys on defense. They had a really good system that was really smart. But once you start having to rotate guys, you're bringing guys in every new year that don't understand the system.
Right.
It's a disaster. I mean, we were talking last night. I've seen more guys from other teams score on FSU in transition, and more teams even off of dead balls.
Or
and
makes. He made a free throw make. They're scoring on a layup on the other end.
And more teams just drive down the middle of the lane. Like, if you would have historically, Leonard Hamilton's defense, like most good defenses, you're not driving the ball into the paint. Like, they're not going to let you drive down the middle of the defense, because your defense is screwed if that happens. It happens all the time now. So anyway, we're all ready for a change. I think that's, the school's ready for a change. We all know that. The question is, which direction do they go?
The point being, no matter
a tough job,
whatever direction they go, it will be something different. Yeah, that's alluring to me, that it will be something different. Let's hope it's better.
Yeah,
different is always better. Yeah. But at least it will be different.
And this has been compounded, meaning the misery of Florida State fans has been compounded by the fact that obviously last year's football team went 2-10, and you feel like basketball is kind of, unfortunately, an afterthought while all the stuff surrounding football is trying to be fixed.
Yeah.
And so you're just rudderless is what it feels like the last few years, where you're kind of going, look, in any other set of circumstances, this guy would have probably been asked to leave already. They would have already moved on. They would have started the search, all of that. Instead, it was kind of like, well, let him play out the string, because we cannot pay attention to that right now. And I understand that's the set of circumstances they find themselves in, but it feels dysfunctional, and it's frustrating, and it feels like big boy athletic departments don't do that, but that's what ours is doing. And I think I'm just speaking from the Noles perspective. It's kind of like you feel second and third tier.
Well, but here's the thing, though, man. If football is good, then everything is fine. And if football's bad, then everything's going to have a hard time. You're not going to devote resources to anything else when in a big way when football is struggling and football's coming off a 2-10.
Yeah.
So you got to go out and hire Gus Malzahn. You got to go hire all these new assistant coaches. You got to fire the other coaches, pay them off to go away. You got to put more money into NIL. You have to do it because you have to succeed in football. Well, that has an effect. Money's not infinite. And so that's where they're at right now. I think Florida State basketball is in a tough time right now. I think this job, Tom and I talked about it on the Smash a little bit last night. it's just a really tough time now for Florida State.
You did the Smash last night?
We did. Well, we pre-recorded it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
did it run at 7?
It ran at 6.
Oh, smart.
Tom Lane.
Yeah, man. Tom Lane's on it. Good.
Crackerjack. But it's just there's a lot of different factors right now that make what already is a challenging job. Florida State's not an easy job. It's not a job that a lot of good coaches, great coaches are saying, oh, I got to have that job. But it's even more complicated right now because of NIL, because of the House settlement, all the unrest in college athletics right now. Plus, you still don't even know what conference you're going to be in a couple of years. And so there's a lot going on right now. I think just don't sign a 6-year deal. Whoever you hire.
3. 3's fine.
Let's not go crazy with a 6 or 7 year deal, no matter who it is.
Let's meet tomorrow morning to see how yesterday went.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about it. And then, you know what? After that day, let's meet again the next day.
It's like,
see how you're doing here
I think
day.
This is going to be a challenging job for whoever they get, and that's probably going to limit the pool a little bit.
but do you think, like, I know the names that keep getting bandied about are like Laux, CY, Sam Cassell. Would any of them say, no, you give me a 6-year deal or I'm staying where I'm at? It's like, come on, man. Who else is knocking down your door to be a head coach in an ACC school? Like, I would think all of them would be okay because hopefully they believe in themselves enough to go 3 years. I can show them what I can do. Even still, I get to be a head coach in the ACC at Florida State at my alma mater. Well, not CY, but
their argument would be, and if we were them, we would have this argument.
Yes, we would.
That look at them, each of them individually. Not Sam Cassell as much. I think if he came here and bombed, he'd go get an NBA sideline job.
In a heartbeat. Yeah,
but Luke Laux is just starting his career. Really, it's kind of amazing that he's so well thought of that Florida State's really considering him after he's really been coaching for just a few years. But a guy like CY. He's been a head coach before and it didn't go great. And there's some reasons for that, but it didn't go great. Then he's been a tremendous assistant coach. If he gets another head coaching job and it doesn't go well and he gets fired after 2 years, how does that affect the rest of his career? So, that would be his argument is like, look, man, if you're not going to commit to NIL, if you're not going to give me a lot of resources, you might be setting me up to fail. I want this job, but I also need some security. So that would be the argument.
6 years, but the 6 years, that's what I meant. Right. It's like, I would make sure I get some resources before I come here, but I wouldn't insist on 5 or 6 years to me, because it's like, man, you're getting a chance to be the head coach at Florida State. Take it.
But as far as who the of that group, I'm not saying those are the 3 finalists, but of that group, I think Sam's probably the one that could probably command the highest salary. I'm guessing. I don't know what the NBA assistant coaches' salaries are, but he's been interviewing for head coaching jobs in the NBA.
That's the splashiest hire by far, in my opinion.
From a name outside.
From a name perspective.
And then a lot of people want Will Wade. I mean, I just don't think that's probably going to be realistic. I think he's rehabilitated his image. The landscape has changed. Cheating's cool now.
You can make strong ass offers to anyone.
And so I think
that's the name of the game.
I think more and more of these jobs open, which is going to be happening over these next few weeks. I think my guess is the asking price for Will Wade is going to be pretty rich, and I don't know if Florida State's going to be fishing in that pond. Well, we'll see.
Whomever they hire, and whether it's a name I like or don't know or something in between. Whatever the plan is from an NIL, you got to get kids. I mean, basketball more than any other sport. If you get a really good player,
and you don't have to have 11, you don't have to have 11 of them.
You have 3,
2 or 3,
and you're good. Yeah. You're good to go, man. You're gonna win a lot of games with those 3 dudes. Especially if any given night you have 2 of the 5 best players on the floor. I mean,
they used to say if you had 3 NBA players, you could win the ACC.
Yeah.
And college basketball is so much worse than it was then.
It takes 1.5 now to win the ACC, I would think.
So again, I think.
But what is Clemson spending? I don't think Clemson is spending a ton on that team.
No, but I think they really hit it. I think they just really hit it. It's almost like
but you're right.
That roster.
It was really, and it's old. It's well structured, but it's also guys that have been there in the system for a while. They stayed, so they're getting paid some. But they're not Duke's roster.
Right.
You can be Clemson, and you don't have to spend $25 million for a roster like that. It's not impossible. Like Brad Brownell's done it.
Yeah.
So whoever comes in here can do it.
Well, you have to have a plan of how you want to play, recruit to how you want to play. You've got to be smart with a lot of factors.
Recruit a shooter or 3. I'm just saying.
They have a lot in place.
Turn your mind back 5 years ago. They had a whole lot of them.
Remember that? Remember those days?
They did.
But
then they turned into Tom House and
it's a toughie. But yeah, you have to have a plan beyond just NIL. You have to have an idea of how you're going to build a program like Florida State's. It's not just like, hey, throw money at the problem.
Life Spectator said Clemson's roster is supplemented by Social Security, which is
yeah, no lie. They are old, man. That's, not that I'm saying that anybody should gamble. I don't think that's a bet. They're a pretty good bet for a Final Four team. I bet you'd get good odds on them because they're going to be a tough.
Good guards.
They can rebound. Their guards can play and shoot. They're old as hell. Like that's a sneaky Final Four type team, I think, which means they'll get beat in the first round.
Now that you've picked them?
Yeah, that's how my gambling works, buddy. That's how it works.
I like it. Seminole Headlines 933 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Ain't nothing but a G-pop, baby.
I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go.
Well, you like remixes, right?
Of course.
Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love. So go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby.
See? Remix.
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good. Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansfornoles.com. That is, again, loansfornoles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Noles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansfornoles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansfornoles.com.
Equal housing NMLS number 373031.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Rolling on Seminole Headlines, and I am Excited to think about football spring practice getting started, but in the interim, we've got important meetings in Dallas today so that the SEC and Big Ten can decide the fate of everybody.
Oh, is that today?
Oh,
good.
Yeah. Actually, everybody does get a vote for now.
Yeah, I love that.
Until next year.
Yeah. I like the so apparently, according to reports, they're going to push for the SEC to get 4, Big Ten to get 4. If they go to 14, the ACC to get 2, Big 12 to get 2, 1 for the group of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Share that amongst yourselves, and then 1 at large. Save for Notre Dame.
Save for Notre Dame.
And screw Notre Dame.
Yeah, man.
Let them go play. They're just the military academies every week.
I don't love the idea that the group. How many schools are in the group of 5? 60.
A lot. Yeah.
They get to compete for 1 spot. I mean, we're going to have Mississippi State in there at 8 and 4.
They're marginalized, buddy, big time. It's only going to get worse and worse.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's where it's headed, guys.
So I do think if the format that the Big Ten had, that I hope the SEC adopts, and maybe the ACC can even for their 2. But if you get like the top 2 teams get a bye, they're in no matter what.
And then you have a play-in?
3 plays 6 and 4 plays 5, and whoever wins those games, that's the 4 that go in for the
But what
SEC.
about you don't play like equal schedules? So somebody gets like SMU's schedule last year.
Yeah. No, I mean, Ira, it's not ideal.
No, it's not.
But and then the ACC, you could have the regular season champs automatically in, and then the championship game is 2 versus 3, and whoever wins that gets an auto bid. It would make those conference championship games that weekend anyway meaningful.
Well, they're trying to find a way to make them meaningful.
Well, that would be meaningful to have those playing games.
Well, they recognized a year ago that they were screwed. SMU was going to have to get in, or else teams moving forward would never play a conference championship game. So then they went, oh, no, our money-making machine, these fraudulent nonsense championship games that they invented for the purposes of pocketing more cash now would be useless. So what are we going to do? Let's come up with another way.
Well, I like that though, because it's like Georgia, Texas. Who cared about that game? Who cared about it? Both teams were in no matter what.
Joe Tessitore wanted you to know that.
Well, yeah, 100%. Well,
you're on team. Yeah. Doesn't matter what happens.
Could be 80 to
What he's saying that for the Tech game, the Georgia Tech game too. It's like it doesn't matter if they lose the 7th overtime.
I don't even know why Georgia's even trying.
Yeah, they shouldn't try. Save it for next week, guys. But I think that would give because we don't need conference championship games anymore. They made them obsolete and irrelevant. But if they make these that weekend, they wouldn't be essentially, they'd be playoff games. Right. That would make it a better sport. That would make those games more meaningful. And also, quite frankly, I would like the fact that even as an SEC hater like myself, if 3 plays 6, I like the fact that 3 has to earn their way in. They don't just get voted in by some committee. Does that make sense? I mean, I know they got named the 3rd seed. You know what I mean? They have to earn their way in. They don't just have some committee in Dallas saying, you know what, Mississippi State at 8-4 is better than UCF at 11-1. Mississippi State's going. Well, okay, but Mississippi State just had to beat Georgia. So something like that at least makes it more palatable to me.
If they go straight rankings as seeds, which is what they want to do. So instead of Boise State being a 3 or Arizona State being a 4 when they were 12.
Yeah, that too is
that's going away.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to go away. I'm fine
dumb.
with that, but I will say this, that if you get an automatic pass on into the quarterfinals and you get the $4 million and you have a bye, the ACC is like, we're never going to get selected.
Right.
Our conference champion is never going to get selected for that over one of theirs. We're going to get screwed because we'll never be ranked.
Right.
Where, name the year that it's happened. Clemson's done it 4 times and we did it once. Yeah. And the other teams that have done it since 2014 are Oregon, who's now in the Big Ten. Washington did it. They're now in the Big Ten. And Oklahoma did it. They're now in the SEC.
Yeah.
So there won't be an ACC team that gets the benefit of it. Look at this great ACC team, like that Florida State team. There's no way they'll be ranked where they would get the benefit of that bye, and they would get the opportunity to just breeze on into it.
Gonna have to earn it, boys.
Extra $4 million.
Gonna have to earn it.
Yeah, the whole thing sucks. I mean, it just does because they're saying they need the automatic bids because they're gonna play tougher competition and all that.
Yeah.
I get it, but again, man, like
that's what the money is for.
But there were teams in that playoff that were not very good. In a 12-team playoff.
There always will be, yeah.
And now
16, there's going to be a lot of teams that aren't any good.
And it's like, but why are we putting these teams in with these crappy records? I don't know.
Yeah, it's the NFL, man. I mean, again, the Bucks were in the playoffs this year. Can you believe that?
Won the division.
Right. See, they got in.
Yeah.
A bunch of times in a row.
Yeah, 5 in a row. They keep winning the division. He can get mad.
Yeah.
They keep winning the division.
It's like, I mean, come on.
You got,
But I do love
try to win the division,
it's like
Corey.
winning a walkathon because you're running.
Perhaps.
You're the only one jogging.
I love all the they do that in like those speed walking races. Like people get caught cheating.
It's ridiculous.
Like if they
that's the most ridiculous sport on earth. Speed walking is not. I mean, that's
if you don't have like 1 foot on the ground or 2 feet on the ground.
Yeah, you have to have 1 foot on the ground at all times.
Right.
But they're hip and doing this stuff. It's the most ridiculous sport. Like, go be an athlete and run, man.
Anyway,
I know they're in great shape, but go run.
Shape. The other thing with yeah, but I love the stories leading up to this meeting. They're all like, oh well, the ACCs might have concerns, and all the conferences.
Group of five has concerns.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
You've already given them the power to do whatever they want.
In 2026, they have complete authority to do whatever they want.
Right.
Yeah.
And
just be thankful they're involving you at all.
Is what they would. Yeah. That's what they would pitch. It's awful, and there is a sense of the ruination of something we all love.
Right.
And what are you supposed to do? Because I know that you're going to watch. You're still going to watch. We're all still going to watch, and they know that too. So they're more apt to just continue to say, "Yeah, we hear your concerns," and do not care.
Those schools, though, in the group of 5 schools, I guess that's what's probably going to happen next. Is those schools are going to just self decide to
we're out.
We're not going to fund it the way we used to, because what's the point?
Well, you're making a good
point. We're trying
to
a lottery ticket to try to get into this playoff.
I just got done reading a long article. Like, good luck, group of 5. Right. You're becoming marginalized, even worse than you already were, and you got now even less of a chance, and it's going to continue to get worse. And your best players get poached now and taken anyhow. So it's like this: the quality will go down, the opportunity goes down, and we loved college football.
Yes,
we understood that there were power programs and those that did not compete at the same level. But we watched all of college football. I don't know. We'll see if there's a breakaway at some point. I mean, the Big Ten and the SEC have wanted to break away. They threatened to do it. That's why this power was seated to begin with. You could say, have a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be honest. I don't feel that bad for the group of 5. They've never had a chance to win a national championship. Memphis, Boise State, those teams were never going to really win a national championship. I feel bad for the teams we cover. I feel bad for Clemson, Miami, teams that have actually accomplished something in this sport.
Cachet.
I don't care if Memphis and Rice get left behind. I care that teams that built this sport get left behind.
There could be a world in 2026. Florida State likely will still be in the ACC in 2026, where the ACC gets 2 automatic berths and a 10-2 ACC team gets left out. I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, but you get to play in the ACC.
Yeah, but you're 10-2.
Yeah, I know. And then 8-4 teams going to get in.
But
again, at least if they had to go beat Tennessee in that 3-6 game, you'd feel better about one of the Mississippi schools finally doing something of relevance.
I've always said that, you can have these competing things be true. Like, believe me, if we're in the SEC at some point, say 2027, and all of a sudden you play Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Auburn, LSU, and Alabama, and you lose 2 times in a schedule that is ranked number 1 in the country, and people are arguing that a 4-loss team from a lesser conference is going to get or a 2-loss team from a lesser conference deserves to get in over you, I'd be the one going, no, they don't. I mean, I get it. I mean, if you're playing that schedule, but there are years in which that league is down, and we all have eyes. We can watch them play the games, and so it's year to year.
And I bet you see coaches coach differently in losses where they're not even trying to win. And once they've realized they're probably not going to win, just trying to keep it as close as possible,
right?
Because that loss looks better than somebody else's loss. I don't know. It's not good. Not
I
good
like that they're going to give the ACC 2 automatic bids, though. That's nice.
Nice.
Yeah. I like that. It's a good idea. Big 12 too.
All right. Well, let's tackle the 7.5 number that came out this week. We don't have to do it right this second. We'll do it in the next segment. That's a little bit of a tease.
We're all going
over on the win total.
I'd go over before I went under. It's a good number, though.
Yeah.
It was the perfect number.
Good number. Vegas knows what. Yeah, it's a good number.
Think Vegas is good at what they do?
It's a good number.
I mean, they had no other option. Either other option would have gotten hammered.
Would have gotten hammered on that.
I absolutely thought that too. I was hoping they would screw it up, though. I was like, ooh. Give me that 6.5. I'll hammer the over.
Yeah. I'm hoping if enough people bet the under at 7.5, would it dip down to 6.5?
I don't know. Do season totals change? Like, do they move them?
Yeah, well, in different books.
So, guys, if you guys can go ahead and bet the under, like heavily bet the under right now, I'm going to hit that thing at 6.5. I'm going to wait till it gets to 6.5.
It's juiced towards the under, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
It's juiced towards the under. They don't think very highly of Florida.
Yeah, and they're dumb. They're idiots.
Think a lot better than they do Florida.
What was that number?
I think 6.5.
That's because of that
Might
schedule.
Be that schedule.
That's a brutal schedule, but it was a brutal schedule last year. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Daytime highs approaching 75 this afternoon. Under clear skies, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows around 45. Highs around 77 tomorrow. Partly cloudy Thursday. Decreasing clouds by Friday. Mid-70s Thursday. Upper 60s by Friday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 69.
The best happy hour in the city is at Café de Martín and El Bar. All day, every day, you can find great deals at Café de Martín while enjoying the best outdoor seating Tallahassee has to offer. Sip away on 2-for-1 house wines, chilcanos, and margaritas all day long, Monday through Thursday. Plus 2-for-1 pisco sours and margaritas on Fridays and Saturdays, and 2-for-1 mimosas for Sunday brunch. Come join us at Café de Martín, where every hour is happy hour, in the Esposito Shopping Center on Capitol Circle Northeast.
Fresh Florida greens. These leafy legends turn any dish into a feast of freshness. Wafer thin, they provide layers of vitamins and minerals and fiber. From salads to smoothies, they're the green machine that keeps us on the go, with a versatility that makes other vegetables green with envy. Spinach, kale, romaine, these crispy superheroes never wilt under pressure, unless the recipe calls for it. To see what Florida leafy greens can do for you, visit freshfromflorida.com.
This announcement is brought to you by Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey.
If you're driving right now, you should know there's an 80% chance that the cars all around you don't carry any bodily injury insurance. Most people don't realize it, but in Florida, all the law requires is that drivers carry property damage insurance. This means that the texting teen drifting over into your lane or the drag racer on your rear bumper have no way of compensating you or your loved ones when they cause a crash. And this should scare the hell out of you. Fortunately, there's an easy way to protect your family from this, and it's called uninsured motorist coverage. It's an absolute must, but a lot of insurance companies are convincing folks to drop it just to save a few dollars. Take it from the personal injury experts. Don't. At Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey, we've recovered millions of dollars in uninsured motorist coverage in crashes where our clients would have otherwise received nothing. So please, call your agent right now and make sure you have uninsured motorist coverage on your policy. We hope you'll never need it, but we'll be here for you if you ever do. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Don't settle for less.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Whenever we play anything to do with the schedule game, I stare back at the schedule that I've already looked at a million times over and then try to play out the scenario of each game, which is a pointless exercise.
Yeah, especially in February.
But one every fan does. You cannot help yourself.
It's the same thing as like
clicking
doing
on
an
lists.
NCAA tournament bracket, though. It's,
Yeah.
you're basing every matchup based on what could be false information to start with.
Absolutely. And yet I engage in it, knowing how foolhardy it is. I do it every time. I'm like, okay, well, let's see. Well, actually, I think it. And then I halfway through it in my head, I'm like, what are you doing, idiot? There's no chance. Because there's none of us, nobody listening, nobody on the message boards, nobody on social media, nobody nationally went down Florida State's schedule last year and went, yep, 2-10.
Lost. No chance.
I just don't know how they're going to score in this one.
Yeah. I was talking about that with Aslan, like how bad it was last year. Obviously, we don't have to relitigate it, but nobody could have. It's not just that you couldn't have predicted 2-10. You couldn't have predicted the worst offense in Florida State history. How could you?
No,
like,
it'd be
legitimately. This is the analogy I made. It would be like North Carolina basketball, a blue blood in that sport, averaging 48 points per game in basketball, like being the lowest scoring offense in the country out of nowhere. That's what Florida State did last year. It's so embarrassingly bad. That's why they were 2-10. That's why nobody could have forced, even if you thought they were going to take a big step back, even if you thought they were going to win 6 games, nobody could have foreseen the worst offense in the country coming.
So I was having a discussion yesterday with someone, or actually it was last Friday, and about what went wrong. And I was talking about the offensive line. I said, listen, man, to me, it all starts with the offensive line, because then that led to them not being able to run it. Then you don't have a mobile quarterback, and just things deteriorated from there. And they were like, and this is somebody who relatively close to the program, and they were like, no, I really think it was the receivers. That was the number one problem. I'm like, yeah, man, I guess. And then we're arguing. We argued it for about 10 minutes. And I thought to myself, well, that's a hell of an argument.
Yeah.
Which of these two vital positions on your offense was worse?
Yeah. Which of these two poisons tastes worse?
Just like maybe.
No, this cyanide is gross.
I mean, good grief.
Ooh. I do.
Maybe the receivers just could not get open because we never got to see the all 22 really. Like there were a lot of times where the play would have been great, but receivers just could not get open. Like, yeah, but there were a lot of faults.
I will say that I get somewhat emboldened knowing that repeating something like that is actually an impossibility.
Right. That's what I keep trying to tell people.
I will say that I do. I mean, I don't know how good they're going to be. And I'm actually more excited. I'm in the minority. I'm more excited about what Tony White and this defense is going to do. And I can't wait to see that. I get it. I mean, it made your eyes bleed watching the offense a year ago. So naturally you would draw your attention towards something other than that. But I'm actually just the mentality and the way they're going to play defense excites me, the way I think they're going to play defense. But
if they average 15 points a game again, it don't matter.
It won't matter. No. You got to be good. You got to be good on offense. I got it. Certainly much better than they were. But yeah, I do know, even when I pull up this schedule like I did here because of the 7.5 that was thrown out there by FanDuel, I was like, okay, well, I can go through this with the comfort of A, knowing that there's a few automatic wins, and B, they cannot possibly be, given the changes they've made, as bad as they were on offense a year ago. You may luck into 5-6 wins, but just by being competent.
Well, and you start
reasonably
the season,
competent.
You start the season with 2 wins. You automatically start the season with 2 wins. So that helps.
It does. And when you look at the offense again, and I know there are certainly going to be skeptics out here who say, well, how do you know? Why can't it be just as bad again? And what I would say is the receivers they brought in last year, and again, the focus on the receivers because that it's been fresh on my mind now. When you bring in Deuce Robinson, to me, I've not seen Deuce Robinson play in person, but I've seen him on television. They didn't have anybody like Deuce Robinson last year. I've seen Squirrel White's statistics. I didn't watch a lot of Tennessee games, but he caught over 60 passes 2 years ago.
Yeah, one season. Yeah.
I feel like he had some injuries last year, but I feel like he's going to be better than anybody they had last year. And I think when you look at the quarterback, the fact that you have a mobile quarterback who can make plays, and everybody's got their own opinion about Tommy Castellanos, I actually like him. I think it's a good fit, especially with Malzahn. So yeah, man, the offense should be solid. I don't know if it's going to be great. I don't know if it's going to be great with a quarterback that's not going to probably complete more than, 57%
of his passes.
Yeah. And his explain to me NFL QBR, the QBR.
Well, it's different from NFL and college. Explain
to me how his percentages, like, I don't understand how his QBR is so bad. His QBR for last year,
it might be like yards per attempt or something, or yards per completion.
It's unbelievable.
He had a good touchdown interception ratio.
Yeah, the conventional metrics, he looked like he had a solid.
The conventional metrics, he completed over 60% of his passes.
I can't remember exactly, but he also didn't have a time. I mean, he cut his interceptions way down. Yeah. I mean, like statistically, it looks like a decent year. The QBR hates him.
I didn't watch a ton of Boston College, and I would like to before we go. At least the games he played, I saw the.
Saw the one here.
Yeah, I saw the one here. He didn't have to be good against us here. I mean, just throwing a wide open guys.
Yeah, wide open guys in the flat.
Yeah. But I will say that I'd have to look and see how much they factor in running ability because they're going to run the hell out of him here.
Right.
And they weren't trying to do that last year at Boston College.
They were forbidding him.
They didn't want him to run. So he could have been a check down Charlie and missed opportunities, and that's factored in. I have to look at all that. But they're going to run the hell out of him here. So it really doesn't matter because last year they were trying to make him a drop back passer, and he's not.
Yeah. Well, what gives me hope, though, about the offense, more so than even the players they brought in, which, look, man, Deuce Robinson, Squirrel White is an enormous upgrade in hindsight to Malik Benson, Jaylen Brown. Like, that's the two big guys they brought in last year at wide receiver.
I mean, I don't know that there were high expectations for Jaylen Brown.
Well, right, but there
was some hope that he could be a guy that could take the top off the defense.
Those were the two guys. Those were the two guys they brought in, right? And they didn't do anything, really.
Well, and then, we sat here. I think the three of us sat here maybe a year ago. It might have been 8-9 months ago, and there's some hope that Kentron Portier was going to find it.
Yeah, Darian
Williamson was going to find
remember, they lost the guy we were most excited about due to injury.
Destin Hill.
Yeah, that's true. That was a big loss.
I mean, Destin Hill could have been a real big help.
But also, you had to have one of those other guys step up.
You would have absolutely had to, but I think Destin would have helped the process.
But I think what gives me hope, I know what gives me hope and confidence that the offense will be much, much better is just the guy running it. Malzahn doesn't have terrible offenses ever. They're usually good.
Well, they all can
sometimes great, and they always can run the ball.
Yeah.
And Herb Hand can always run the ball. Like those two, that combination, no matter who the guys are that they're coaching, I just can't fathom a scenario where Gus Malzahn would have an offense that averaged 15.5 points.
Yeah, but you never would have thought Mike Norvell would have.
Malzahn has the 20 years of D1
But there was no reason to think that Norvell would ever produce that. I mean, Norvell has been
but I'm saying the track record for Malzahn is better
deeper,
offensively than Norvell's is.
Because he's older. He's been around
when you take the 20 years that he's been doing it. So yeah, I have the utmost confidence that Gus Malzahn will at least get this thing to average in year one.
There are definitely, I mean, I'm sure some people will show up in the chat here. So statistically, he completed 61.5% of his passes.
Over 60, yeah.
18 touchdowns with 5 interceptions. And his rating, whatever, quarterback rating, whatever, the basic one is like 163, which is like 40 points higher than the year before. But his QBR last year was 37.9.
I wonder if it's just the yards per attempt. Like, how many yards did he average per game? Like, did he average 100?
Easy stat. I don't know how 18-5 touchdown interceptions, 61.5%. I don't know
how many yards did he throw for?
1,386 yards.
That's what I'm saying. So that's 140 yards a game. He played 10 games, averaged 130 yards.
Did he play 10 games? He only attempted 160 passes.
He didn't throw a lot.
He wasn't throwing 10 times a game. He didn't. I don't think he played that many games because I think he got benched before that.
All right. I wish there was a way we could look that up.
We can. You guys talk, and I'll do it.
But that's not a ton of yards.
No,
I think that's what it comes down to is the yards per.
Well, I just want some clarification on QBR.
Yeah, looks like he played 8 games.
Yeah, the bottom line is he was never going to be a prolific passer. He did not put the ball in harm's way, which is what they were asking him to do. You know, they didn't want him turning the ball over. He didn't. That also probably means there was based on the yards, a ton of checkdowns. So I'm sure he's getting dinged for that. And we'd have to look at it. I mean, because there are guys, you watching the NFL that complete 64% of the bat. You're like, this guy sucks.
Well, the other part of that is, again, you're trying to put a square peg into a round hole.
Without question.
And Bill O'Brien wants to run an NFL offense, and that's not him. And Gus Malzahn's not going to be asking him to do that.
No, it's a very collegiate offense that Gus is going to run, which is to Corey's point about he's run it well. They run the football, and they're going to run the hell out of him. And if they get a modicum of blocking up front, you'll beat 5 of the teams on this schedule just by being halfway decent at running the football.
Yeah. And I still say, I'll say forever, once the season started to spiral, all bets were off. Because I'm not saying they all went in the tank and quit, but they lost all confidence. Norvell lost all confidence. I think the thing just became it was like a satellite that's out of orbit and it's just spiraling.
Well, to be clear.
So that was, to me, I just say I don't think that they were worse than some of the teams they lost to.
Oh,
the season was just spinning out of control.
Well, and I just, correct me if I'm putting words in your mouth. I know how that sounds to an audience member, like you're making excuses. No, that's a damning statement to make. They're better than 2-10, yet they went 2-10. That's a knock on Mike Norvell.
Yeah.
Like, you lost the team.
Yeah,
and
we're
you
even
lost
competitive
yourself. Like,
multiple Saturdays.
How did you lose that many games? How did you have the worst offense in the country? That is on him. But the point you're making is their record should have been a lot better based on the talent they did have.
Right.
But he couldn't get them to play to that ability, which is knock on him.
And the reason I think that's important to note is that I don't think it's as a Herculean task as it might sound to go from 2-10 to 9-3 or 8-4, just because you've upgraded a roster.
The over to go from 2-10 to the over.
To the over.
Yeah.
Because you're again, you weren't as bad as your record looked last year, and you've upgraded the talent and coaching across the board.
I like man.
I think it's something funny.
Tommy, it's words right now, right? Like, and we've only talked to him once. The way the guys talk about him fills me with a little more hope too. Like I was worried.
I'm not falling for that, Corey.
But the way they talk about him,
I don't care how they talk about him.
But the fact that, like, I don't think I'm sure DJ was a great guy. Sure, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
a
everybody
nice
seemed to like him.
He was a decent guy.
He
was
wasn't
not
a
one
guy
of the
that was
guys.
going to galvanize a team. I think Tommy
different personality.
feels like that personality will galvanize a team. Like, I think that's what I'm hoping. That's the hope. I think
that's certainly what you hope.
I absolutely think he's a tough kid. He's going to make some plays with his legs. I think he's a guy they can get behind and play hard for.
One of those retrospective red flags. You don't always see the red flag when you see the red flag.
Right.
You look back later and that might have been a red flag.
I should have paid attention to that. Yeah.
Was during preseason camp, I was talking to somebody who's close to some of the skill players, and they expressed to me that they were very concerned about DJ and how accurate he was going to be and how good he was going to be. At the time, I was like, yeah, man, that's, you're close to these guys, and, so you're going to want to build them up. So maybe you're looking at this guy, and I'm like, but the reason I think it's relevant now, and I look back at it in a different light, was he was probably hearing it from those skill guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they went into the season not really confident in DJ because he wasn't part of them.
Yeah.
He moved here with his fiance. I'm not blaming him for any of that. They knew what they were getting into, but they did not bring in a guy who was going to be part of the locker room, lead the locker room and all that. So when that happens and things aren't going well, you're going to be left out. You're not going to be part of who they don't have your back. And if your receivers don't believe in your quarterback, man, that's a terrible recipe.
And if they're not any good,
that helps too. That's even worse.
It makes it really difficult.
It exacerbates.
They don't believe in you, and I suck. This is tough. This is a toughie.
I can't get open, but he's not accurate.
If I did, it wouldn't matter. You're out here chipping bricks, and I can't get open. What do you want me to do? The one time I am, I'm waving wide open in the end zone, and you throw it into the stands. Yeah, that's a toughie.
That was a tough throw.
Oh my God. That throw was so emblematic of everything.
Yeah.
Like
that was Boston College, right?
Yes.
Tommy C saw that up close and personal.
He's
like
wide open.
Yeah.
My man chucks it off the bricks. We came in here. That's where chipping bricks came from.
Yeah, that was a tough. That's when you knew the season was might be spiraling.
I remember that was frozen in my mind where that ball landed by way of comparison to the receiver and how open he was.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't see that. You don't.
Do we know they would have caught? Was it Darion?
Guys, Darion.
Well,
yeah.
Do we know he would have caught
sure.
it?
I mean,
We don't know he would have caught
He
it.
might have kicked it up in the air and they would have picked six. I mean, who knows, man?
Well, that
the
wasn't
way
to
that
the tight
season
end.
went.
It wasn't to the tight end.
I'm just saying, just the way that season went. Who knows?
But man, I mean, you just don't see a throw like that. I remember thinking, well, what did his arm get hit? How did that happen? How do you miss a guy by that much? This time around, by the way, when I go through, so we're all three taking the over to answer the original
Yeah, I would
question.
take the over. I would not put.
I'm not putting money on it until it gets to 6.5. I'm not putting
Corey,
money on
you have a habit
I'm not confident of it.
with things that you're hoping for to offset the fear of
Right,
disappointment.
course. Yeah.
By either A, not watching, or B, betting on the thing you wished wouldn't happen.
Yeah. I just put 1,000 down on the Mets to win the World Series.
Well, they're down 2 pitchers the first week.
Yeah,
of spring.
yeah,
So
perfect.
they're working for you.
Did they really?
Yeah, they've got some guys that we'll see what happens.
Poor Tom, give me a break.
Manaya's hurt and somebody else got hurt. No, so speaking of Tom,
You guys are going to like Soto, by the way. You're going to like watching him.
What, as a Braves fan? Yeah. Dude,
you get to see him a lot.
I've gotten to see him. He played for the Nationals.
Bring him back.
Yeah,
you get to see him win a World Series with the Nationals.
I really missed him. And then Bryce Harper, too. It's been cool to pitch to him for his whole career.
Well, you're talking about two different things now. One is impossible. Like, you cannot accept watching every pitch with a stare down and
and the grab your crotch. Yeah, it's tough.
It's a little bit difficult.
Bryce Harper's a little more
He's matured quite
he's
a bit
actually a little
over
more
time.
likable, which is insane.
Infinitely
he's
more
actually
likable.
very likable.
I pissed Tom off yesterday on the show by merely suggesting what would happen if Florida State lost to Alabama 37-7.
Oh.
How do you think this team responds on the heels of a 10-loss game?
Depends on how it plays out. If there's a couple of late scores,
if it's close, if it's like the GOAT, the greatest opener of all time, that's a close game.
You're right there at halftime.
Yeah, you're right there.
But I'm telling you, I think the fact that the rest of that month gives you a little runway, man. You're going to feel awful for a week.
I don't see that.
Then you're going to beat Kent State by however you want to beat them. Then all of a sudden, hey, you scored some touchdowns. You feel good.
Not after what's happened these last 13, 14
Corey,
games.
I was right about this.
People
People are furious.
Of course they're going to be furious.
It's not going to go away because when you beat East Texas, nobody cares.
I know nobody cares.
You'll have 3 weeks before playing like a high school team on a Friday night against Virginia, which sucks.
Yeah.
And you're going to go to that game and you'll have no faith that they're going to win.
Correct.
And you will have just got your ass kicked again, just like the last time we saw them play, getting their ass kicked. No, man.
No, I'm not saying it's ideal, but again, it's not like
just clarify.
It's not like you're going to a real, like you're going to be 2-1. So the pain of the frustrating opener will have subsided some. And if you go beat Virginia, you got some momentum going now. We're getting to that over. We're well on our way to getting to that over, Ira.
You're insane.
I don't understand what are we even arguing about?
There's nothing redeeming from those next few games. Doesn't matter what you do. Now, listen, if you
are we going to still do the show?
Well, we'll see.
We will.
If you start all your many sponsors, if you start a season with 2 or 3 cupcakes.
Yeah.
You get credit for those. Because, man, you're like Florida State baseball right now.
Yeah, just beating the hell out of people.
24-2. This team's unbelievable.
Yeah, best offense in the country.
You get credit for that. But if they had started the season with a trip to Arizona State and got swept and then beat up on these teams, nobody would care.
Nobody would care.
I'm not. I push back. People are still going to care because they're Florida State fans. They're going to be very, very skeptical.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be. It won't be like, screw this team in eternity. There will be a healthy dose of skepticism.
Hey, if by healthy dose of skepticism, you mean that the people on the boards or wherever we consume Florida State fans' feelings, it's going to be all caps. Fire this a-hole.
Right. But that can be rectified if you have a good season after that. I'm just saying it doesn't.
State.
And also, you shouldn't be playing Alabama. It's right. Am I right, gang? What are we doing? Why are you propping up the SEC more than they're already propped up?
Hey, six loss Oklahoma had no problem with Alabama.
I was going to say,
beat that ass.
Who just got out of their SEC? Who just got out
Tennessee?
Of their? It was Tennessee, Nebraska, right?
Nebraska
got out of it.
Foolishly decided to get rid of the Tennessee series. Come on. What are we?
I wouldn't mind Florida State getting rid of the Georgia series. And you guys all know that it would be cool to go to Athens.
Can we talk a little Tvelo real quick? Since it looks like we blew through a segment.
We did. We blew through a segment. Talk about Tvelo. Let's do this.
So this weekend, guys, if you're in Tallahassee, you don't have to make the drive up to Thomasville. This Saturday, Tvelo is going to be participating at Cleaver and Cork over there at TSC, Tallahassee State College.
Okay.
We call it these days. It's Saturday, March 1st. March 1st.
March 1st, not the 1st.
March 1st.
Yeah.
Match first.
Match first.
Match first. March 1st.
You know what it is.
Tvelo, it's all right. We're in this together. From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the intramural fields on TSC's main campus.
Let's go.
444 Apple Yard Drive.
What is it? Like a beer festival or something?
No, it's a food and alcohol thing. It's basically bringing in a lot of different restaurants. But Tvelo's going to be there. They're going to have the morning ride, which is the coffee blonde, which we love.
Delicious.
They're also their new Irish red ale, which
Let's
looks
go.
beautiful.
Let's go.
I don't know if I'm going to like an Irish red ale, but it looks beautiful. The picture,
you'll like it.
But anyway, Tvelo Brewery up in South Georgia, up in Thomasville. But they're going to be in Tallahassee this weekend. Go over and check them out at the Cleaver and Cork.
And when is that again?
Saturday, 11 a.m.
No, what's the date?
Match first. Match first. From 11 to 3. 11
it would have
a.m.
been
to 3
good if you
p.m.
had gone like just called it Mach 4.
Yeah, Mach 4, Mach 2.
You should
Fellow, we love you.
And every week, Jeff should just tell him that he's coming, and then that guy can look for you.
Wandering the earth, or wherever it is I say I'm going to be. This Saturday, though.
Match first.
And there's food.
Yes.
Food and the coffee.
Pair with all the Tvelo.
You can go there and then head over to watch the baseball team play Georgetown that I didn't even know had a baseball program.
I don't believe it's a free event, though, so you need to check in the tickets.
Yeah, it's got food and beer. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. Headliner questions on the way, kiddos. Hang in there. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Stop fighting the algorithm. You know you can't get enough Florida State filling your feed. Well, there's no better way to keep up with FSU on YouTube than with members-only level Warchant. It's going to get you bigger, faster, and stronger. How? Bigger.
It's hour number 2.
Join now for exclusive access to a bonus segment of the legendary Seminole Headlines.
Faster.
Get debut access days in advance of the public release of the latest episode of X's and O's with Dominic Robinson, a look at the All-22 film.
Stronger.
Utilize the Member Milestone Chat, a new feature which allows your comment to be highlighted in live chats during Warchant.com shows for maximum visibility. All of this in addition to members-only flair like badges, emojis, and polls to drive the conversation of the home of the Ultimate Seminole Sports Source on YouTube. Give it a try. Cancel it anytime. No commitments, no phone calls, no emails. Just a few clicks within your YouTube account. Warchant.com members only YouTube. The next level in FSU coverage on YouTube.
Use consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachia Parkway. Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
WVFT, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. You're listening to Seminole Headlines with Ira, Corey, and Jeff. Stay tuned for more headlines coming. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas. Brought to you by Palmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with two great locations in Tallahassee.
Florida Gators baseball today, a $3.15 favorite over the Stetson Hatters, plus 230. Florida State, $4.25 favorites against Jacksonville, plus 300. Grapefruit League today, the Rays are $1.20 favorite over the Philadelphia Phillies, plus 100. That game in Port Charlotte. College basketball today, the Florida Gators play for their 7th straight win. They're laying 6.5 of the Georgia Bulldogs at the Steadman Coliseum, 148.5 the total. Tampa Bay Lightning, $1.12 home ice favorite against Edmonton, minus 108, 6.5 under the total at Amalie Arena. $250 bonus and you open up a GBank Visa signature card, visa.com/GBank. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
If you've been waiting to hear Macy's winter clearance, now's the time. Get everything you've been eyeing all season long at prices that are worth the wait. How good? Think 40 to 70% off coats, sweaters, boots, and more. Plus, come in and get an extra 20% off all your clearance purchases. That's up to 75% off. So if you've been waiting to treat yourself to something cute and cozy, hurry into Macy's now, because you're not the only one ready to score amazing winter deals. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
That spice is 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Hi, my name is Khadijah, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick of the chicken. It's just the right amount of heat, and it gets me excited. And then, pro tip, add that cilantro lime sauce. It cools it down. If the sandwich is at 100, the cilantro lime takes it to 200. It makes me want to, tell all my friends and family.
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
July 9, 1755, near Fort Duquesne, now the city of Pittsburgh, a 23-year-old British officer leads his troops in battle during the French and Indian War. Though fired upon repeatedly, this young lieutenant colonel remains unharmed. 15 years later, a respected chief sat over a council fire with this same man. As he told all those listening, the Great Spirit protects this man and guides his destiny. He will become the chief of nations, and a people yet unborn will hail him as the founder of a mighty empire. The man was George Washington, who went on to become the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army and the first president of the United States.
Celebrating our nation's quest for freedom and honoring all those who serve, our military, law enforcement, and first responders. Hidden Glass on South Monroe for mirrors, shower enclosures, and window glass. Call 222-5781. And Sellers Tile on Capitol Circle Northeast for tile, carpet, hardwood, and luxury vinyl. Call 656-8453.
Siri, tell me a joke. I once stayed up all night wondering where the sun went, and then it dawned on me.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Save big on our remaining 2024s. Our last 4 2024 Titan pickup trucks are all $10,000 off, and you get 0% interest for 60 months. Our last 3 remaining Nissan Frontiers are $6,000 off. Kraft Nissan in Tallahassee.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Seminole Headlines, headliner questions on the way. But first, and it's a special day, we finally can say it, our thanks to Birch Orthodontics.
It is over.
Yeah, well, it's kind of over. We're on to retainers.
Okay.
We know how it works, but the braces.
We see the product.
But the braces are off. The photo, I don't know. Let's see if I can.
Are we going to get a before and after, or are we just going to, we're not going to embarrass him. We're just going to show the after, right?
Let's see. Can anybody see? There he is with Dr. Birch right there.
Look at that.
Look at that. Smiling away.
Clark Cameron also is now 6'7".
Yeah, look how tall he is.
It's crazy. He's getting really tall.
Because Heather's like 5'9", right?
No, Heather's short.
I know.
But
just trying to give it some context.
But
there.
Clark is getting really tall. And he's 14, and he's like 6'1" or 6'2".
Yeah.
And now he's got great teeth.
And now he's got perfect teeth. So he is pleased, very excited. And I said, pick a place to go out to eat tonight, son, with these teeth that are no longer burdened by the brace.
You should take Dr. Birch, too.
No, I've given her a lot of money.
She can go out to dinner on her own.
She can go eat wherever she likes, I'm sure. No, we appreciate it.
Would he be okay with her putting his picture on the front, like the before and after in the front
that's a
door?
Good picture.
No, but the before
well,
too.
Before.
The before doesn't do any justice unless he's got the. But the before is from when he was like 10, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't want people to recoil as they enter.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, but no, it was tough work. She made it happen, and his teeth look great. And for those that are watching on YouTube on Warchant TV, you just saw. It does look good. I'm really pleased. I'm happy for him because he's talked about it in the days leading up. So
it's awesome, man.
Yeah, I know
you should take him to that the event on Saturday.
Buy him some beers.
Yeah, buy him some art food. He can eat the food. Yeah.
He's been eating.
Oh, good.
But yeah. He's been eating.
They didn't prevent it from eating.
No, they didn't. And your kids will be able to eat too. Just because they're in braces doesn't mean that they can't. But the experience has been great because both my kids have gone through it, and I can attest that it's as you say, Ira, and your kids did the same, that it's a successful and easy transition to make working with them. It's they make it possible.
Yeah. And they, listen, man, so many times when any kind of medical stuff you need, whether it's going to a doctor's office, dentist's office, orthodontist, whatever it is, sometimes you can feel like in 2025, sometimes you can feel like it's an assembly line. Like there's not like a lot of personal care and attention. But no, Dr. Birch really, her staff, they're just awesome. And they do great work, as you see in that picture. And if you go to birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, you can set up a free consultation, get information there and all the different latest technologies they do. She's been doing it their office has been doing it for over 20 years. Just tons of experience. Look, kind of like the track record, like Gus Malzahn.
Yeah. Exactly right.
She's going to do good work.
Yep. Yeah. There's a baseline of success at the very least. Yeah. It's not going to be a disaster by any stretch.
Oh, that's
not the way we would do it.
Tagline.
Yeah, it won't be a disaster.
It won't be a disaster.
It will not be a disaster. First question of the day. We kid.
By the way, I think because I let people know we're going to be back in studio after this month.
We actually have some Facebook questions.
When people were excited on Twitter, I saw there's a lot of activity.
I'm excited too. I don't like
these questions. Let's be quick.
The morning recordings.
Tom says, I know this basketball team is unwatchable.
Well, that's not true. I think they play an entertaining style.
I know this basketball team is unwatchable, but can the Warchant crew start a campaign to fill the TLC Double C for the SMU game next Saturday? Ham needs a final celebration for all he's done for our program. Break my heart if there's tumbleweeds in the stands. Thanks for the memories, Coach. My son still talks about that 2020 team.
When does spring break start,
That's from
Ira?
Tom.
I think it's like the second week of March, maybe.
But would that would like the March 7th?
No, they'll still
have
be
school the next week. Okay. Well, then, yeah. So the students should
pretty
be on,
sure.
the students should still be on campus, and they should hang around and come to that game.
I would really like to think.
Well, whatever they did for the Miami game,
the students have been coming.
Yeah.
The students have been pretty
but
good.
whatever they did for that Miami game, do it again.
Yeah.
What, because the students overtook the arena. Do that again. Whatever giveaways you were doing, make sure you have a giveaway. Not just appreciate Leonard. Sometimes you got to force people to come that might not come. So do a giveaway to make sure the student section is there. And then, yeah, we'll beat the drum for people to be there. They should be there.
I mean, it would be nice. We'll see. I think they're also going to do an event afterwards. I believe.
Yeah, ceremonies after the game.
Ceremony afterwards to honor.
And Andy Enfield will be there because he coaches SMU.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Good to have Andy back in town. Does he want to leave SMU?
Yes, he might just walk to the other sideline.
Here we go. Let's make it happen. No, I actually think there will be
hope so.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too. A good crowd to send him off. He's going to be in the record books at Florida State for a long time.
Yeah, nobody's going to. What's it? 600 something wins he's got.
It's unreal.
400 something he's got in here. They'll unfurl something, I assume, when he's there. I don't know if they'll name the court after him, but they'll unfurl something.
Marlon wants to know what it takes for how much money is needed in all three major men's sports to compete at a top 10 level. Oh, I don't know the exact figure that.
Are you talking about total budget or just NIL?
I think he wants to incorporate everything.
Because the budget, I think the budget's around 160, 170 million. Some of these schools, Ohio State and some of these schools, it's well over 200 million. Part of it's depending on how many sports you have. But I think you're talking from an NIL perspective. I mean, it's going to be this pseudo salary cap is going to be 20-something million, just over 20 million. And then there'll be other NIL. I mean, look, all these schools are already figuring out ways to work around that and to expand their NIL opportunities. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's not going to go down from what it was. I mean, it's probably going to be, you need to be in that probably 15 million at least football, maybe more. And then to 20 million or more. And then basketball, I think, again, like we said, it's way more per player. Basketball players get a lot more than those football players because you don't have to have 60 of them. But, you're
and a singular player can have a massive impact on a game.
I wonder how much baseball will be benefited because aren't they going to go to full scholarships? Has that happened yet?
They are. It's a little weird, though. I don't know if it's I think there's some questions about how many scholarships they're going to. I think every conference is going to decide how many scholarships they really want to offer.
But it'll definitely be more than 11.2 or whatever it is
sure.
now. So that's a nice thing you can float to a kid. Right. It's like you get a full scholarship now instead of 28% or whatever you were getting the year before. So that'll help.
But everybody's going to be doing that.
Yeah. I have no idea. what
it's hard to put up
what Alex Lodice is worth, what he's getting paid, starting shortstop at a top 10 team.
Yeah. And it's I just know that the longer it goes on that you're at a disadvantage in an annual payout financially as the schools in the ACC are going to be, then you're in deep trouble, buddy.
The students might be a little iffy, buddy. They go on spring break March 10th.
Yep, I know. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're going to bounce game. Friday or Thursday.
They're in the bag by the time that game starts, and they're in the bag at some beach.
Yeah, they're back home. Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's a bummer that's happening.
Butch writes, "Hello, boys. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this basketball team. When the new coach takes over, you would have to reshape the team. But to me, if you're able to keep Ewan, Davis, Bull, Bowen, develop a little bit through recruiting, I think you have a good but not great foundation to build for 2026. Your thoughts. Take care. Thanks, Butch."
Well, the guy that impressed me the most yesterday, by far, was is it Malik?
Maluk,
Alir Maluk, the number 21, the freshman center, because of what he can do defensively. I was telling Ira, when North Carolina slowed the game down because they had the big lead with 5 minutes left, they just kept running the pick and roll to have him switch on to Davis or switch on to Cantu or whatever that kid's name is, the Cadeau, the other point guard. And he hung with him. He guarded him like Bernard James used to guard point guards. Yeah. That's what they've been missing for, 3 years, is a center that could actually stay in front of a guard. He was really, really impressive. Yeah. Has a nice free throw stroke. I think that guy could be a real player.
I think there's a feeling that he's a future NBA player. To me, him, Daquan Davis, and Taylor Bowen are the three I would try to build around.
I'm disappointed with Taylor the last.
Do you believe they'll all stay?
But I think I don't know.
Who could know? Yeah.
It's going to depend on who comes in and what the NIL is offering, because I think all three of them are going to be in demand. Taylor, I agree, he has not played well lately, but I also think he's a guy that would play better in a better situation. I don't think, he's not ready to be like a lead guy, but I think, man, again, I go back to part of that problem. I feel like, this Jameer Watkins, Malik Ewan, both super talented. They've kind of been the big two all year, but I don't think they've made anybody else around them better. And so in a better situation, I think you could get more out of those.
And Malik Ewan is just unbelievably gifted. Just such a unique. I was telling him, and it's mostly hyperbolic, but not completely.
Not in classic Corey.
He's like a more athletic Nikola Jokic.
Kind of hyperbolic.
Just like a more athletic.
Just a
little touch of hyperbole.
Just a smidge.
How good he is. How good he is around the basket, finishing. How athletic he is, and as good a passer as he is.
Right.
He doesn't shoot it.
Right.
And I'm not saying he's Nikola yet.
Right. But he's well on his way.
He's well on his way to 3 or 4 time MVP of the NBA.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there.
Transcendent center.
I'll be
and not great defensively like Nikola.
Yeah. I'll also be curious to see how hard the next coach tries to keep him, because
there's some stuff that you wonder what the chemistry is like with him, but he is so uniquely gifted as an offensive basketball player. And he's from essentially Jimmy Carter Boulevard.
I was just about to say,
he's
from the Jimmy Carter.
Basically, he
it's
went
not
to Berkeley.
influencing your thoughts that he's a lot like Jokic.
Not a lot like, a more athletic.
Oh, he's a better version.
Yes.
Not quite the shooter yet, but that's it. That's the only deficit.
He's 2.0.
Yeah. It's on the way, boys. He might be the first pick in the draft based on that evaluation.
I'm telling you.
Oh, man. Nathaniel Hornblower, my man, writes, we just lost 2 absolute mainstays at kicker and punter, boys. Looks like Weinberg projects to be the guy at place kicker, but am I correct in suggesting there could be a battle for punter this spring between Chiamento and the freshman Ethan Post?
I think that's accurate.
That is accurate.
Nathan's doing a good job there. Mac Chiamento has been on the roster now for like 3 years. He's a talented kid, big leg. We've seen him in practice. His best are better than Mastromanto's.
His best, it's the consistency
but not as consistent.
But legitimately, he's got like 65-yard punts in that leg. He's got a cannon, but occasionally he'll kick it onto the other field.
And the fact that they signed a freshman who can kick and punt makes me think that that's a security blanket there
for Weinberg.
Yeah, no, I don't know, or maybe either one, I guess.
Yeah.
By the way, Hornblower goes on to say, and this is great. Also, apparently, Post is 6'3", 235. That's one stout punter. But do we know if he can kick with both feet or just the one?
He is a big dude.
Papuchas will let us know.
He's a big dude who also can. He looks more like what punters like traditionally have looked like. I mean, punters usually are like bigger dudes.
Yeah.
And now he's massive, but. It would have been nice if Mastro could have revisited that late in his career, like in one of these
past year.
Those games didn't matter.
Yeah, who cared, man?
Roll out a couple of
left footer line drives, man. Cross field line drives, left footed.
Robert writes, it's only been 7 games. What's your take on the overall weaknesses of the baseball team? Only the weaknesses. I actually want to hear this. Go ahead, Corey. I've seen every game. I think you have too.
I'm not sure about. I don't even know if it's a weakness. I don't believe in the offense yet. I don't think it's going to be elite. I also don't know that it needs. I don't think it will need to be elite. Right. But I think that to me is also Max Williams hasn't been good yet. He needs to be better, but I'm sure he will. I just don't see the.
He's had some bad luck too, right?
He has, and Jackson West too has just been stinging the ball right at people. Yeah, it's like God, baseball can suck sometimes.
Yeah, it's tough.
But yeah, I wonder about. I just wonder about the depth of the lineup. I'd like the Bailey kid to. But if he could hit like 10 to 12 home runs out of the 8th spot, that's a big deal in college baseball. But I just haven't seen the length and the depth of the lineup I would have liked.
Yeah, I didn't love some of the at-bats Sunday. That was especially. When they could have blown it open. And now they got some bad luck too. But I also thought there were some times where they got a little wild at the plate, just chasing stuff.
But they're averaging like 10 runs a game, so it's hard. And they're giving up 1 a game. So it's hard to have a lot of weaknesses.
You're not going to lose a lot of games when you get as much dominant pitching as they've received. And also the average of 10 runs a game offset by the fact that you scored 22.
But the question was picking weaknesses. There's not really anything you can point to right now defensively.
No, they pick up the ball and they run the bases well.
And there's not really much you can point to offensive or pitching wise. So kind of have to look at the offense and try to find negatives.
I would flip-flop their 2-3 starters at this point if I was just guessing.
Yeah, but he was so high on Vellini.
Yeah, because what he did in the preseason. And he's been fine. He's not been dominant.
I'm not trying to say that, but Mendez look better.
What's the difference? They're both going to pitch, and you got a better chance. If Mendez is better.
If we're just ranking them, I would say Mendez has been better.
But I think that I also think I would think that Mendez throws about as hard as Arnold. Bellini's more of an 89, 90 guy, so maybe you don't want to give back-to-back hard lefty looks.
Yeah.
But either way, they're going to pitch over the weekend. So
I do like the way Mendez dots to righties on the inside corner with that 93, 94 in on the hands. He sets everything up off of that. It's really, really fun to watch.
One thing I like about Lincoln, I've liked about him the whole time he's been here, but one of our criticisms of Mike Martin Sr. was that he determined who his setup guy, his closer was going to be at the beginning of the year, and that was it, man. Like, it didn't matter who they were playing,
and nobody else was going to get a look.
Right, and I like that
he
gives a lot of guys chances.
They've had like 13 guys pitch already.
I like that a lot.
And they have some really talented arms, and then the defense has been very, very good. Cal Fisher is not Cam Smith at the bat at all. Maybe he can get there someday, close. But he's been very good at third, and Lodis has been nails at short.
I think it's hard to find a consistently good, in terms of defense, third baseman in college baseball.
I think Fisher could be the guy, man.
Well, that's why I'm complimenting. Yeah. I think because if you watch a lot of college baseball, that's the area that stands. The left side of the dime is what stands out from college to the pro.
Yeah, we've seen some bad ones here.
I mean, dudes can't pick up the ball consistently, and they struggle with anything that's hard hit. I mean, it's college. It's not professional baseball. The pros make everything look so easy. So when you watch college baseball, that usually stands out, but Fisher's picking everything up.
Yeah. He's a shortstop. Yeah, he came up as a shortstop. He might be a shortstop when Lodis leads. So he's a talented glovesman.
And we still have a lot to learn about the depth of this team. They've got a first baseman that's out, who they expect a lot of with power, by the way. The Plains kid? What was his name?
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
okay.
He's out. Big lefty. He's another big lefty that was over there. But they have another guy or two that they want to continue to develop. So
back to your point, though, from basketball, though, because we were talking about whether or not you can, even without tremendous resources, can you still be good? I don't think FSU's NIL offerings compete with a lot of these SEC schools.
Not LSU's, I can tell you that.
But they're going to be one of the best teams in the country. So that you can do it, man. If you evaluate well, if you're coached well,
the methodology,
if you evaluate well,
you know what you're doing.
You can be better than just, this is all we have to spend.
Yeah.
Throw up your hands.
They have, when you talk to players, former players, even the ones that have only played briefly for Link, they talk about, one of their players told me one time, they're like, he's got a plan for everything. So when we take the field, we kind of know exactly what's expected with each arm we're going to see and why and how everything is thought out.
It's almost over the top. Like, Link, calm it down a little. Let me go just play my sport. Let's go have fun. But he is just so – he's like an engineer. He's like a NASA engineer just organizing a baseball practice.
But that's got to make you feel real.
Oh, yeah. That's probably not going to go into he's not going to have a couple of bad seasons in a row, I wouldn't think.
Corey, the kid's Bladen Plain is the kid I was talking about. He's 6'5", 225, and he's got a big bat from the left side. They expected a lot of him coming into the year. He's banged up.
Well, get unbanged up, Bladen Plain. Come on.
Let's get healthy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we flew through this first segment. I'm in the habit of skipping segments today, buddy. We got to go to break.
I give you the red light once in a while.
Yeah, Jeff, shut the hell up and go to break. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
When I get home, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Tools and Spas to put that pool in the back. I call Swain Tools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up some fun when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Ain't nothing but a G-pop, baby.
I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go.
Well, you like remixes, right?
Of course.
Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love. So go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby.
See?
Remix. Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good.
Gather around Tallahassee. It's time to fire up the grill and make some unforgettable family memories, courtesy of Hearth and Patio. Whether it's juicy steaks, succulent burgers, or those special family recipe ribs, they've got the grills that will make your backyard the hottest spot in town. From gas to charcoal, they have the perfect grill for every meat lover's dream. Call Hearth and Patio today, where the quality of your cookout is their passion. Give them a call today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Every journey starts with a first step, a daring step. But what they don't say about first steps is that you have to keep going, taking step after step, and eventually you take a big leap, accomplishing more than you ever thought possible. After 57 years, Tallahassee Community College is soaring even higher, and we're now officially Tallahassee State College. We invite you to take a step and visit Tallahassee State College. Learn more at tsc.fl.edu.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Is there any update at all from reports a month ago that FSU was still talking about a deal with the ACC, or can we assume that that was really not a thing? Of course, talking will always be going on behind the scenes. I just mean for this most recent report.
Yeah, no, it's accurate to say that they're in talks, that they are trying to figure out, is there a way to give Florida State and Clemson more of what they want, more money, and, maybe affect the buyout, and when you can leave the conference. All that is being discussed. How close they are, I think, is up for debate. I mean, I think, the ACC, the fact that the ACC wants to negotiate and ESPN wants to negotiate tells you that they have some concern that FSU and Clemson may win their lawsuits. Because if that happens, then those schools are going to be out. The problem is we're out for much less than they're supposed to be out for in terms of the exit fees. But if that also takes time. So I think the variables that all parties are trying to figure out is FSU and Clemson trying to figure out how can they either get a lot more money from the ACC to stay for a little while longer, when can they get out, and how much is it going to cost them to get out? And then ESPN and the ACC are trying to figure out how long they can keep them and how much they can get out of them when they do leave. So those negotiations are going on, but the whip and the carrot, like the whip is that, the ACC and ESPN don't want to lose that lawsuit. So the fact that they're negotiating tells you that they do believe there's a chance. And I think FSU and Clemson are still confident in their lawsuits. So at some point, somebody's got to give. I don't think it's imminent. I don't think it's imminent. But
please get us out of here.
The wheels of justice move slowly in this country.
Yeah, I mean, it's just everybody's all these entities are looking out for themselves. So there's a lot of negotiations going on, but I don't think it was imminent. I didn't think it was imminent the way those reports were written. It made it seem like that everything was going to be smoothed over and Florida State and Clemson might stay.
Oh yeah, they were going to agree to that
for a long term. I don't think that's the plan. But the question is, how long can they how long before they can get out? What's it going to cost? And how much can they get in the meantime? Those negotiations are definitely, I think, still going on.
Sir Stuart Wallace, guest starring as himself, writes, you guys been over to the stadium lately? What are the odds this thing's going to look legit when the Gumps roll into town? That's well done. Well done. Gets a shot in Alabama, but also has very real concerns about whether or not we're ready to host such a contest.
It didn't seem like, I was, I don't know. I think they're confident they're going to be ready. But the problem to me is, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. When you open a restaurant, you have a soft opening. When you open a store, you have a soft opening. This ain't a soft opening.
Yeah, it needs to be.
It's a big one.
So they're not. How are they going to really have a trial run to know whether everything is ready?
Oh, you mean like the screen, the video boards? Because they usually do a great job of that. That's never an issue to start the season.
Yeah, the ticket process,
the
getting
DJ.
people in.
The stadium.
The concessions, So I guess that's my thing is, I'm a little concerned for them, not because the building won't be ready. They seem to be confident the building will be ready, so hopefully that'll happen. But then that everything runs well? What are the odds everything's going to run well? You're bringing in 75,000, 70,000 people.
Yeah.
And then if the game doesn't go well and you're charging people
that kind of money,
a lot of money, and it's a bad experience, that could be a tough Monday.
They got 7 months.
Don't go well.
They got 7 months. Yeah. Come on, guys.
Tick.
I know.
It feels like it's
work 18 hours a day if you have
to.
It's
ambitious.
Yeah.
It's ambitious.
I said, man, I'm really worried about it. You have a lot of very angry people that are trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. But the second they have an opportunity not to, that's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
And now imagine that's a 37-7 ass kicking.
Yeah, but I think it's more about, and Ira and I don't ever have to experience this. I know you watch games from the stands sometimes, but we never have to worry about how long the line is to get in.
Or the my biggest complaint the last few years. It's absurd.
Unconscionable.
Well, also you feel like you're a fish in a barrel. I mean, I don't want to bring up the situation in which, we see mass shootings on a regular basis, but I don't like being shoulder to shoulder with somebody not able to move at all, and you can't turn and go it's ridiculous.
You got to make it easier to get into the stadium. So I would like them to do maybe the first event should be a concert. Like
the week before?
They are going to do concerts.
Get the students in, see how easily they get in.
Grass.
Get them on the grass, hopping around, maybe an EDM.
Drinks.
Yeah, electric dance.
Maybe a monster truck rally inside.
Do something inside.
On the field.
And then tell Alabama, sorry, the field can't play. Can't play. We'll be ready for Kent State.
So, I think the stadium, to Ira's point, will be ready. Operations?
Yeah, the operations is, that's going to be. Hopefully they'll put a lot of money in it. They better be good at operations.
Trick Noel wants to know, got a couple basketball questions. First of all, he says that he would prefer the next coach will be somebody that has won before, even if it's at a small school.
Yeah.
Will Wade was his top choice. Ira, you don't believe that's a realistic
I think it's less likely. Yeah.
He thinks Ben McCollum would be a good choice. Then maybe CY or Cassell. He doesn't think Laux is a real candidate. And then he goes on to ask, is Tania Latson going to be available for either the ACC or the NCAA tournaments?
Do you see the future, Corey? Do you have a magic 8 ball? Can you get Brooke Wyckoff to tell us?
Be nice to know.
Tell us the truth.
Yeah, if she's going to. I mean, she's just the leading scorer in the country, and we have no idea if she's going to play. Yeah. They play Notre Dame on Thursday, number one team in the country, and you don't know if the best player in the country is even available.
But they've had a couple of nice wins, I think, without her.
Yeah, and the Bowles woman, I always want to say girl, Sydney Bowles. I mean, averaging like 7 points a game, goes out to Georgia Tech and scores 32. It was David Dulkey's all over again.
It's North Carolina. Letting it rain, roll it out there. Roy had no answers. Roll it out there, had no answers for it.
I think they ended up winning the national championship.
No answers on that day. Humiliated yet again. They roll it out there.
And they lost in the ACC championship to the Noles.
We'll roll it out there. Didn't have a strategic plan for it.
No.
So we don't know.
I'm not
Go ahead. Ask me.
One criticism, I was talking to Eric Eggers, our friend Eric Eggers, about this the other day, and Tim in our group text. One thing that Leonard never really did, and I remember talking to him about this in 2002 and 2003 about marketing the program to students and marketing the program, getting out and do it. Sue Semrau always did so many things.
She was everywhere. Yeah.
Leonard felt like that wasn't really. He thought winning games was what would bring fans, and ultimately he was right.
He was
when
right
they were
about
good.
That.
The fans came out.
Yeah.
And his point was, if we don't have a good product, it doesn't matter. People are not going to come to watch basketball in Tallahassee.
You could do both.
I'd like to see the next coach be a little bit more
part of the campus,
more
part of the university.
proactive. Anyway, just an aside.
I think it's fair. But he was right. If you win a lot of games, people show up, and that atmosphere was incredible for about a 5-year window there. It was unreal.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to win though. S. Quinn, I got it right this time.
There you
call
go.
him Squin on the regular when we do the Renegade Room stuff.
Squin.
Yeah, there you go, Squin. Let's go. S. Quinn 67 writes, love the Renegade Room extra content you guys delivered. To each of you, which coordinator or position coach is going to make the biggest positive impact on the team in 2025? Which one will have the biggest impact long term?
You're Tony White.
I'm
You're
Tony
Gus
White.
Malzahn.
Yep.
You know what? I'm going to say Tony White. I think these guys will. We'll see, but I think watching the Nebraska teams play, how hard they played, I think there's a lot of talent on this defense, especially in the back seven. I really like the talent in the secondary. I think these guys are going to play hard for him. I think you're going to see more plays get made.
I do too, buddy.
Go weeks without an interception. So I'm pretty excited
It'd be
about.
cool to see plays being made.
I think Corey's right. Corey's got the data on his side. Gus's offense has traditionally been good. I think it's likely that's going to happen. But I think for this particular team, I'm eager to see what the defense looks like.
I hated watching them play defense a year ago, and I know the offense had all the headlines for obvious reasons. They were the worst in the country. And it is inexplicable that could ever happen. But, man, we had so many guys turn it down, so many guys that had no interest in making
Not a lot of
tackle.
ferocity.
They never made big plays. They rarely made big plays. Nope, there weren't a whole lot of moments where where the hits were nasty.
Knocking people back.
No, none of it. Teams got whatever they wanted.
Yep.
It was
That was literally a stat that Mickey Andrews kept, and I don't know if maybe the former staff did as well, but like knock-em-backs, like how many times you drove the ball carrier backwards. But yeah,
that's what made. I don't remember what game it was where Earl Little finally started playing, but that's what made him stand out. It's like, well, that's weird. Who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that guy coming out like a missile?
NFL.
Yeah, that's cool to see because he was the only one doing it.
Yeah, very frustrating. So I Tony White is my answer. Ira correctly guessed, and I do think they are going to be asked to play a certain way. Talks about swarming to the ball all the time. That's another thing they didn't do. Ain't nobody swarming anywhere for
Fuller
this
talked
defense.
about it a little bit, but it didn't happen.
They did the California game.
Yeah,
there were a lot of moments watching, in retrospect, watching practice last year where they're like begging guys to play with some enthusiasm in practice. I mean, literally.
Well, that game you're talking about when they did it against Cal, they actually showed them the film. Look, there's 11 of you in this picture.
You're making plays.
That's amazing.
You're all there where the ball is.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so frustrating. PC Native wants to know, hey, when are you guys going to do the Coach Speak again?
Yeah, that's a good point.
They do love some Coach Speak out there, guys.
Yeah. And there's been some quality material.
Well, we're in the offseason.
College basketball coaches.
Everybody needs downtime. But one of the good things about being in the offseason is that Ben has more to choose from because weeks go by.
Months go by.
Weeks, Corey.
Yeah,
We're just going to stick with weeks. We don't want to alert everybody to exactly how long it's been. But there's one coming soon.
All right.
Is there? I didn't know. There's one in the hopper.
Yeah, it's going to happen really soon. Joseph.
It'll be on our Patreon account.
Yeah.
It'll be in the Renegade room.
It'll be in the Renegade room. The rest of you are screwed. Joseph writes, love the show, boys. I've got a scenario. For every 4-game stretch on the schedule, Alabama, Virginia, Miami, Wake, Clemson, Florida, you have to pick one guaranteed win, one guaranteed loss, and 2 guaranteed slugfests. How are you setting up this 9-3 season?
I don't know. They're going to beat Kent State and Texas A&M Commerce, East Commerce, Texas, and I don't know about anything else.
All right, so Alabama to Virginia. What do we think their record is?
I got to pull up the schedule. I don't have it memorized.
Yeah, I don't know.
So they play Alabama to Cupcakes and then
that.
Virginia. So okay, Alabama to Virginia.
I think they'll be 3-1 after the first 4 games.
All right. Okay.
But I don't know, like a slugfest. I guess Alabama will be a slugfest.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a hard question. It's February. Ask us again in August. It's February. I will say this. Speaking of Forrest Gump, I don't know if I told you this last night that I showed because the same year that Forrest Gump came out, Jeff, famously, Pulp Fiction came out.
Yeah.
And I showed Brady Pulp Fiction.
You
this
told
weekend.
me that.
I did. Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Have you shown your sons?
Oh, both have seen it, yes.
They have?
Absolutely.
What did they think of
the scene?
I mean, what are they doing here?
It's a
We're
great
on
movie.
the air. We're still on the air.
It's okay.
I mean, we're all of a certain age. All right. So we brought up Forrest Gump. I was thinking of 94.
They thought the movie was
Forrest Gump, so I'm going to bring up Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Similar
Guys, we
genre.
have young viewers that probably have never seen Pulp Fiction. They might
Get
have never
out
heard
there,
of it.
kids.
Go watch it.
Yeah, if you're 12, 13, now's the time.
Now's the time
Lock
you're
it in.
ready. Don't listen to your kids. You're ready. Or your parents.
All right, so he thinks we're going to go 9-3, by the way. You got a guaranteed loss in that stretch? Corey's going to say Alabama.
No, I don't think that's a guaranteed loss. There's no guaranteed
That's the problem.
losses
It's
or
just
wins.
it's hard to say guaranteed losses.
Ira, your guaranteed losses, we are going to lose to Clemson.
Oh, that is definitely.
that would be my guarantee, too, if I was guaranteeing one.
Matt says, the wildly popular Jeff Cameron Show made me look. The last 10 years, FSU's had 5 winning seasons.
Yeah.
Florida's had 6. Miami's had 8. No playoff appearances for any of the 3. Getting harder to remember the dominance that I grew up with. Which program of the 3 wins a national championship in the next 10 years, if any?
I think of the.
I don't know how Miami. Look, would you rather be 7-6 for 4 years in a row, or go 10-3, 13-0, and then have a fall off a cliff?
Have it sandwiched by.
Yeah.
I don't have confidence in Mario doing it. I don't think Billy's going to turn this around to that level. So, of the most likely, I'd say Florida State. And it sounds crazy and sounds homerish after 2-10, but I just don't have very much confidence. I don't think Napier's going to be there too much longer, and Mario may not be there that much longer. I mean, man, they just look what just happened to them when they had a team that should have been in the playoff and should have competed for a national title.
Yeah.
Those losses are crazy.
He's always going to have the problem of being an awful game day coach. Yeah. And he made so many poor decisions to give the ball back over to the opposing team's offense.
How do you punish
defense back?
They should have lost 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that there. Napier has a better chance. It's just that the road to get there is very difficult in the SEC. The schedule is brutal.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have the top 5 quarterback in the pick, top 5 picks in the draft at quarterback. You had an NIL loaded roster. There really no glaring. The biggest question marks were in the secondary.
Yeah,
and
it's awful.
It was awful. But to do what they did is, the losses they have, and then they could have lost 2 other games.
Should have lost the Cal, baby.
So,
that's
clear. Absolutely.
My money's on the Noles.
You would have thought. You would have thought that I would have fast forwarded that scene.
No,
I fast forwarded the scene with Butch and his girlfriend. I was like, yeah.
That's
this is kind of boring.
Intimate.
I don't need all this.
Yeah.
Oh, not that. It's just like I'll wrap it up. This is 10 minutes. It's a long movie. We're gonna roll through this 10 minutes in the whole boxing match.
I get lucky, by the way. Bryce is really into movies, and if he wants to see something that he's heard me talk about or other people talk about, including movies that might have some very uncomfortable scenes for us to watch together, he'll just watch it on his own.
Oh,
and I love that he'll just watch it on his own. I'm like, okay, cool. You saw it? Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of watching.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, you've got 3 daughters. That would be impossible. Yeah, that's tough.
You didn't show them Pulp Fiction?
They know about it. Kim always talks about it.
There you go.
Oh.
She's always quoting it.
She is. Royale with cheese.
Nicely done. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Daytime highs approaching 75 this afternoon. Under clear skies, northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight, lows around 45, highs around 77 tomorrow. Partly cloudy Thursday, decreasing clouds by Friday. Mid-70s Thursday, upper 60s by Friday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 73 degrees.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bloodstown Highway today. The ASC trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bloodstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Hey, did you see the new portable building from Southeast Portable Buildings? It's like a mansion, but you can move it.
Oh, come on, man. A mansion? It's probably just big enough for your collection of the world's smallest spoons.
You think I'm kidding? This thing has more space than my in-laws' house during the holidays. And I can finally hide from them in style.
Well, I guess if you need a place to escape or maybe to store your emergency cheese stash, Southeast Portable Buildings has you covered.
Exactly. They've got models for every taste, from classic to modern. Plus, they're they're built to last longer than my New Year's resolutions.
Well, speaking of resolutions, I resolved to get one of those buildings for my backyard barbecue empire. Imagine the grilling space.
So Tallahassee, don't wait. Get your own slice of portable paradise at Southeast Portable Buildings.
Yeah, give them a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400 or online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Because sometimes you just need to escape, even if it's just to the backyard.
The best happy hour in the city is at Café de Martín and El Bar. All day, every day, you can find great deals at Café de Martín while enjoying the best outdoor seating Tallahassee has to offer. Sip away on 2-for-1 house wines, chilcanos, and margaritas all day long, Monday through Thursday. Plus 2-for-1 pisco sours and margaritas on Fridays and Saturdays, and 2-for-1 mimosas for Sunday brunch. Come join us at Café de Martín, where every hour is happy hour, in the Esposito Shopping Center on Capitol Circle Northeast.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Right.
We may have to shut down the chat.
What's going on?
People yelling about Pulp Fiction?
No, just a lot of recommendations of other things people should watch.
Oh,
that
okay.
you should not watch.
And/or
do not listen to. Do not listen to. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so we're shutting down the chat.
Well, there are people monitoring the chat, so
there are.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ben's monitoring the chat.
Oh, all right. Well,
There are
Ben,
people in there,
do it.
Yeah, shut it down
It's
if we have
nothing
to.
wrong.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
Just don't take the advice.
There's just some things in here that we need to. Yeah. All right. Quick question from Brad. Is baseball question. Do you all think a team will lose 22 straight games this year? Which team is pretty bad enough to lose, say, 22 straight games? So, listen, you're talking about Major League Baseball, first of all. And secondly, the percentage chance of any Major League team losing 22 straight games is like next to nothing, which is why it's shocking that the White Sox were capable of that. But it would be the White Sox again.
Are they bad again? They're going to be horrible again?
They're awful.
I hated Grifol was just terrible with that club. That's a talented team. And Pedro Grifol just let them down, let that whole city down, really. Yeah, they had to fire him. He couldn't get it. He couldn't reach those kids, those talented kids.
But I mean, I have.
You've watched some horrible baseball.
I've watched some horrible baseball.
I legitimately don't know why, and I'm not trying to take a shot. I would be so mad if I had an owner that just never. The last free agent y'all paid for, went and got, was like a 2-year, $10 million deal 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's got to be infuriating that you have an owner that just does not care.
And then when they do, I don't know, you go sign Chris Davis for $1 billion or whatever.
Something silly like
that was with the Baltimore. Yeah, at least he spent money. It was horribly spent, but the Pirates don't even spend money. They just cash checks.
Well, they recently there's a tiny bit of hope, not a lot, but they did re-sign long-term Brian Reynolds, their all-star. So that's a step in the right direction. And
Skeens, they're going to keep Skeens.
Well, he's in year 2. They've got him for another 4 years.
Yeah.
But if they were smart, they would do what a lot of teams do when they realize they have a phenom. They go to him right now.
Well,
And,
right. He's probably not
there's zero
signing
chance he's
anything
gonna
yet.
do that, but
So the Orioles signed Chris Davis to a 7-year, $161 million contract in January 2016. In 2018, he set the MLB record for lowest batting average for a qualified player.
What was
batting
it?
168.
Boy, for like 400
So that was
at-bats, too.
even when they did spend money, it was always a disaster.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not anymore, Ira.
Nope. Now we're gold.
Richard wants to know, in hindsight, should Florida State have let him walk to Alabama? Do you think that was ever a real possibility?
It was definitely a possibility. You talking about Norvell? Yeah, I think so. Well, ask us after this year, Richard.
Listen, man.
2-10 is not the greatest start to the post-Alabama offer.
No, also, I don't know, Kalen DeBoer's loving his life either. And if you followed Nick Saban and you didn't do, it's going to be a tough road.
Let him lose to Florida State.
Yeah.
Fresh off that 4-loss season of not
a lot
making
more
the
pressure
playoff.
on Kalen than Norvell, crazily.
That came up yesterday. We were talking about this. Who's under more pressure?
Yeah. Because
they're both under immense pressure.
He doesn't have Kent State and East Texas cross-country team rolling in after that.
The Sav.
That's going to be a sweet September either way, guys. That's going to be a winning month. You're going to feel good about things.
Not if we lose to Virginia and Alabama. It's a 2-2 month.
Yeah, you're right. I keep forgetting Virginia's there at the end of that month.
Zotter writes, with the new basketball coach, I've been hoping for Dennis Gates, but now I think Luke Laux would be a smooth transition. What are the Sacramento Kings, if not the epitome of amateurism? This franchise drafted Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic and Trae Young.
Yeah.
What say you? Well done.
I didn't realize Bagley went ahead of them.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
and
that's a tough one.
and so did Ayton. Like Ayton's a okay player. He's not Luka.
No.
But hey, I just want to point out again, the Hawks actually drafted Luka.
Yeah, it was a good
and then
choice.
traded him.
Hey,
You
but
think
you
he'll
got
wear the
Terrence Mann,
blue
buddy.
ribbon?
You got Terrence Mann.
Playing 11 minutes a game.
Come on, baby.
Man,
Let's get
I
those
don't
minutes
understand
up on time.
No, I agree.
Will he
Yeah,
wear the
big dunk
Hawks
last night.
hat when he goes in the hall?
Probably. There's a picture of him wearing the Hawks hat because he was drafted by the Hawks.
You should go in with him. You guys should just pay him a fortune, like Steinbrenner.
I mean, it's like Trae Young's going to be a Hall of Famer too, and that was still a horrible, horrible trade.
Tom writes, how many more years before every college baseball team resembles the Savannah Bananas? That's funny.
That would be awesome if they just
Have you ever looked at like what it costs to go see
It's
them?
crazy. It's
No,
insane.
it's a lot.
Unbelievable.
You can't get a ticket. You can't get a ticket.
Everywhere they go, it's like over $100 a ticket. It's just crazy.
They're sold out for years.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I knew what they were and who they were. I had no idea.
I mean, I guess
Big
it's
hit.
100. You could get in for a couple $100, but it's like, yeah, it's.
I
a
mean, for
minor
what
league.
it is, though,
Yeah, I
you
know
know.
it's a minor league, not even
do
minor
they do
league.
what most
Vaudeville
minor
act.
league places do? I mean, they quarter beers and hot
Oh, I
dogs
don't
and
know.
stuff.
I don't know. You catch a ball in the stands, it's an out. People bat on unicycles, like they do all that crazy stuff. I don't know about anything else.
That's yeah. Bob writes, Corey and Jeff select one full head of hair until we get out of the ACC, or we get the Platinum Bohica over Miami over the next decade. It is 5 in a row in basketball now again, and it's 16 of 17 or whatever it is. It's
14 of 15.
Yeah, so we've been really close to the Bohica.
Yeah,
I
very
wanted
close.
the Bohica. to
What's
happen.
the other? We get hair.
We have full head of hair.
You guys don't need hair.
I don't.
No.
That'd be unfair.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would be.
we're beloved with the
Yeah.
with the bald heads that we have.
We have to change the logo.
Gents, 2
Might
questions
have to
regarding FSU's game August 30th against the Gumps. Ryan Williams is the best wide receiver to play in Doak since. Nice.
Kelvin Benjamin,
Michael Irvin.
opposing team.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's an opponent.
No, but I think he means any.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm trying to think of the opponents that have rolled through here.
But no,
It could be an
he can
FSU
include an
It could be an
receiver,
FSU guy, yeah, but I don't think it is.
And we certainly don't produce receivers in
I was
mass.
going to say it's not on tape.
In a minute.
Yeah.
That's got to change too.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing out here?
That
It's
needs to happen.
ridiculous. It's
That needs-
embarrassing.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as the O line is not producing.
I think
every
the
year
answer-
having great receivers.
I think the answer is Kelvin Benjamin.
But you're saying somebody better than Ryan Williams.
Yeah, somebody better than Ryan. I don't think Kelvin's better than Ryan Williams.
There was a snapshot.
Yeah,
of
there was
Kelvin
a
Williams who
2-month
cared when
stretch
he
where
cared.
he
He
was
was unguardable.
yeah, you're right.
Unguardable.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Kelvin Benjamin.
Kelvin Benjamin at his peak, which admittedly didn't last long.
No, very, very short amount of time.
Yeah, Ryan Williams is not as good as that.
No.
That guy was unguardable.
Well, and he was even unguardable briefly in the NFL. That tells you how good he was. So, I mean, he was that kind of a stud. He just didn't
And don't
like
get it
football.
twisted. We're not saying that Kelvin
No.
Benjamin is better than Ryan Williams. We're just saying his peak was there's never been, I don't know, who before him, Peter Warwick?
I'm just so glad PW finally gets his just due online. Do you see all these highlight reel videos that they're posting?
Chad Johnson tweeted about him yesterday.
He does it all the time.
Yeah.
Posts stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, just to remind kids, if you're young, I forget that we're all old men, and we saw Peter Warwick in his prime right here. If you've never gone and looked up Peter Warwick highlights, go look at those again, because as somebody who was in school here at the time and who later followed and documented all this on the air, that dude's highlight reel still blows me away. Like when you watch that college, and obviously college, it's unreal.
Not what he did with the Bengals with the Seahawks this much?
No.
What about Percy Harvin?
It's good.
That's a good guess. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, he was an incredible college football player. Incredible.
He was. Hated him.
Yeah. And Florida State almost got him, but instead got his teammate, his high school teammate, Flamin' Damon McDaniel.
Jonathan writes, what are the current odds FSU baseball and softball both make the College World Series?
I mean, 30%.
Yeah, the softball team still can't pitch.
They're better, but yeah, that was they're not. They're better than they were last year. They're not. They don't have anything dominant. It wouldn't appear, but their offense should be good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be if they get to a super regional, there'll be a coin toss against most.
Just don't match them up with Oklahoma. Yeah. Is that allowed? Can you? That's crazy. So yeah, I think both teams have about the same shot. It's hard to get to Omaha in baseball too. Like you're gonna have to win a regional and a super regional, and those are never easy. So I would say 30%. I think each team has a 50% chance. I don't know how math works, but I assume that equates to like 33%.
Do we feel? Yeah, it's tough. I
mean, you feel better about baseball just because you have a win with Jamie Arnold, probably.
I was going to say, I'm looking at any truncated series and saying I've got.
But then even the UConn one, you had to go to 12 innings, and Jamie Arnold got knocked out of that game. Like you just never know.
No, you don't.
Yeah, it takes a slip up. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's tough. Do you think Coach Ham's retirement announcement, was perfectly timed to get Dennis Gates a raise? Ham always looks out for his old guys.
I think Gates is going to get a raise either way, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else comes after him, or I think Gates is going to do well. Whatever happens after the season, they're having a really good year.
What about Enfield? We never bring him up.
So Enfield, I do think Enfield expressed interest in the job before he got the SMU job. I don't know that Florida State's a better job than SMU with all the money they have. I mean, I think coming out,
life's more about money, Ira. Life's more than just about money.
I've been saying that forever. Yeah. That's why Corey works for free.
Yeah, I don't need money.
But when he was at Southern Cal and it was going the wrong direction, I think he has people expressing interest.
Hey guys, can I get the hell up out of here and get a job there?
But then he got SMU, and I don't know that.
But Dennis Gates is not feasible. It's not
unless
logical.
they wanted to offer a fortune.
Yeah, and they're not. Why would you do that if you're Florida State? You want a defensive line.
Right.
R.A. Noel, gentlemen, fellow father of a high school athlete, why do they want all these accessories for sports just to not wear them when it's 40 degrees outside? Also, is it wrong to tell my son I will pull him off the field if he pimps a wall scraper into a single?
That was my son that did that over the summer, and I didn't want to embarrass him, but trust me, he heard about it. He was so embarrassed it really didn't matter, but he definitely heard about it. But yeah, so he
was high up on the wall.
Yeah, and he did crush it, but it was not far enough, and he never hit a ball that far. And so when he hit it,
the fact that he pimped something he had never hit that far,
and he never hit. He hit 2 home runs in his life, and it's like when he hit it, he had never hit a ball that hard in his life. He's like, oh, that's clearly gone. That's in the woods.
It's
like, man,
no power.
Yeah. I was like, even if it was. You're not Ryan Howard, man. You haven't hit 500 of these things. Run. But yeah, so he went to Dick's the other day and asked me for like $200 to buy all the accoutrement that goes with baseball.
Yeah, I
was like, what do you need? He needs, I need an elbow sleeve. I need an elbow guard. I need a shin guard. I need the oven mitt to slide. I'm like, yeah, I'm not giving you any of that. You have a job. If you want to buy all that nonsense, go for it. And he did.
Tough love, Corey Clark.
I mean,
I'm proud of you for that, though.
I mean, come on.
Because I know you're not going to spare.
What do you need an arm sleeve for?
Yeah, listen, let's be men out here. Let's go. Let's play the game.
But just one.
But also,
not look good to play good.
But just one. In an elbow, in a. I was like, man, you don't get close enough to the plate to need an elbow guard.
Who was the guy that played baseball for Madison County, but played in the majors for a while?
Kane, Lorenzo Kane.
Yeah, Lorenzo Kane. Mm-hmm. Apparently, he showed up for like a tryout with scouts in jean shorts. Literally, he was not a baseball player and just just came from nothing.
He's just like, hey man,
this
is me. Worked out for him.
Dude,
he had some athleticism to him and some talent.
Interestingly enough, it's not all the accoutrement that makes you a star athlete.
Oh, we're done.
You done wrapping it up?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Did you get Facebook at all?
I did every one of them.
There we go.
Nice.
What about Twitter? We got Twitter.
We got almost every Twitter question.
All right. We got to save some for the Renegade Room. We got to have a bonus edition, maybe.
We could. There were a couple that I didn't get to that I didn't like them. They weren't very
get
good.
Better.
Yeah.
If your question wasn't read, get better.
All right. Ask some more, and you might get on the Renegade Room.
Hey, say goodbye, boys.
All right. We'll talk to you next time.
That's Ira. That's Corey. They're saying goodbye.
Peace.
We love you all.
Bonus hour coming up next with me. Just me. That's right. We're talking about all things kind of not FSU. Until then, peace.